Hi, everybody. We are so excited to be here. Another episode of Mindfully Austin. I am your host, Hannah Williams, and
I'm her trusty partner, Lacey.
and we have the amazing Kara Hobbs with us today. I'm so excited for this conversation with you, Kara. Thank you so much.
Me too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I love your design space behind you. So already we can see that you have quite the artistic eye. Can you tell us about this space that you designed right here?
Thank you. Yes, I am at home. I do office in a loft space, sort of off of my garage, above my garage at home. So we maximize what we could do up here with the desk space here in the corner and some, funky accents to really make it with my flair. Up here, did a dark ceiling, which is kind of different. But yeah, it's a great place to create. I enjoy working up here, and my husband plays drums on that side of the room.
Awesome. So you guys share that space?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, how cool. So I'm so excited that we got to meet, and I can't wait for people to hear about what you do. And this kind of goes across the whole spread, because Mindfully Austin, we love to work with or communicate with people and share people that have an intention of uplifting humanity through their work. The thing that really gets me excited is that a lot of times you can think of energy healers, massage therapists, yeah, people that it's very obvious that they do that.
Mhm.
I practice real estate. It's not that obvious that I would be doing that in my work, maybe because I call it the mindful real estate team, but maybe somebody that does branding and photography, you might not exactly think that, but it's so intentional.
Yes.
And
I think it's really about the energy that you bring into your work that qualifies that. And you do that through.
and you do that through design and
Yes, interior design and decoration and
uh,
consultation and all of that.
so,
Yes.
so tell us about your background and your business and what inspired you to create it.
Sure. So I've been on kind of a winding journey to get here, which I think is a lot of people's story, right? When you get to these
Absolutely.
points of arrival. So, really, my background is in art history. I studied art history at a master's degree level. I did that because I loved it. My parents were like, "What are you doing getting a master's in art history? What are you going to do with your life?" And I said, "I'll figure it out. I love this too much. I'm just going to dive in." So, thankfully, they were supportive of that. But through that, really my love for visual story, details, artistic expression, just really authenticity, right, of artists, true artists over time is just so inspiring and engaging. And so that passion, has always been with me since I studied. But then after school, kind of moved around a lot for my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. But in that process of moving, just, it was always we're re-nesting wherever we are into this new home. Every few years it felt like for a little while. And so one of the things that really drove me to this passion was realizing how natural and easy and authentic and joyful I felt every time we landed in that new space and I had the opportunity to make it our own and to feel connected with it. And so that was kind of the first flicker of this flame, I feel like. But at the time, I wasn't really sure about interior design. That wasn't entering my brain. I was just paying attention to how much fun I was having doing that. And then I'm getting a job, right? I'm like, I want to do something that's helpful in the world. Okay, fundraising. So I look into nonprofit, end up working a decade in fundraising for various nonprofits in different mission areas and loved it. It was very fulfilling. I love building relationships. I'm an extrovert. I like meeting with people. I'm not afraid to ask for money, especially for things that matter. And so that was great. But at the end of the day, after several years of that, I was a little bit like feeling the pull to do something creative and a little more fun and light for my daily work. And so I just kind of reflected on that last time I felt that flicker I was working on our homes, and I was like, I think I have some skill here. I think I have some gifts and I want to share those. And so I just started to side hustle at building this business, Kara Hobbs Design, working with people in my current office to redo their office and like see how it goes. And I feel like the universe was like pushing, like, yes, like affirming every time, every step I took. And so I just listened to that and followed that passion. And a few years after the side hustle, having a baby, doing some other things, I decided I'm going to take this leap. I need to take it. There was just nothing that was resistant about it to me. It was all feeling so right and good. And so I just followed that, left my job in the nonprofit sector and launched Kara Hobbs Design full time and haven't looked back. It's been 6 years since the side hustle start, the whole thing, but I have no regrets. And I think that's something I've learned. Like, it's worth taking a risk is so worth it when you feel no regrets about that. Like, you know that you've tried, right? And you've listened and you're here and you're present and what you're supposed to be doing. You can't beat that. Like, so
that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so happy that that came right in the beginning of this interview, because that is the formula that, you hear about from so many different sources and spiritual teachers and even old, ancient books written about growth, personal growth and development. Like, that is the formula, is to find joy in what you're doing and to trust in that voice and that process. And you just embodied that so amazingly.
Yeah, your whole beingness just started to, yeah, I could feel the excitement. I could like feel the creativity. And it was really interesting because a lot of people, when they get to that point where they're about to make that leap to the unknown, to that dream, to the vision that hasn't quite manifested itself, fear shows up. So I didn't hear a lot of that from you when you were talking. Can you speak to that to someone who maybe is in that space where they're really understanding their gifts, they're really finding a lot of joy, and they're ready to make that leap? How did you get from here to there?
Yeah, so I think trust, right? You just have to believe and trust that that inclination is so strong, and that resonation, that connection with what it is that you're feeling. You just have to trust that. It's not wrong. And I think that's just moving with excitement and not being driven by fear. Acknowledging the fear, that's real. I'm not going to tell you I wasn't scared at all. It came up. All the things came up. It's a big change. That's a big deal. I was the breadwinner in my family. I was like, here we go, but yeah, like a roller coaster, like we're going down the hill. Let's do it. So I think just, yeah, letting the excitement outweigh the fear and knowing that this is the right thing to do. And if for some reason it goes haywire and it wasn't, you'll know and you'll make a change because you're smart and you're gritty and you're all the things you need. So don't worry about it.
Letting the excitement outweigh the fear. And I think that should be a t-shirt. That quote.
Wear that shirt.
I need to quote that.
Courage is not what you do despite your fear.
That's so true.
That's right.
And then you say that design is self-care. So when we're in that moment where we start to feel the fear, the self-care really helps, I think, us to move along or to be courageous, right? We're coming back home to ourselves, like you said, to acknowledge it, but not to let it keep us small or stagnant or whatever. So I love for you that your work design, can you speak to that a little bit about design being self-care? Because I really loved how you put that.
Yeah. So I think interior design has this label out there and this perception that it's pretentious or it's not for me or it's just stuff. It's just pretty things. For me, it's much deeper than that. All the stuff and the things, yes, it's beautiful, but it's what it creates in your space of being that affects you, right? You're creating an environment, a total energy shift in your space, how it's laid out, the materials you're engaging with, all these things fill your cup and make you feel at home, good, solid, grounded from where you live. And when you can feel that way where you live, you take that out into the world. But the next thing when you wake up in the morning, if you're like, yes, like I'm feeling really like myself at home, great, because of this wonderful environment that is easy and joyful and functional, because maybe you hired someone to help you, maybe you just put it together yourself, whatever it is, that's caring for you. Caring for your space is caring for you. That's part of your ethos, like your environment here. So it matters.
Yeah, our home and our environment. Like our souls are embodied by our physical bodies, and our physical bodies are embodied by the structures and homes that we live in. And yeah, I love that.
It just reminds me of when we did your branding, and it was really about your why for why you want to help people with the home buying experience and how much deeper it is and how it feels in that way.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I was just having a conversation with a friend of something that's always in the back of my head is the sacred art of making my home holy.
Mm.
It's like a way that a presence that I bring when I clean my house, or if I choose to redecorate, or if I choose to create a flower arrangement, or even just diffuse something. There's this essence, and it sounds like you bring that, you invite people into that they might not even know it exists
Mm.
through what you're doing, which is very powerful.
Yeah.
It feels that way. It's sacred, right? Like I think that's the end of the sanctuary. It's sacred. This space is not just a structure,
I
right?
would love for you to share your process
Yeah.
with us. Like you're coming into somebody's house. What are the steps that you take? How does it work
Sure.
for you?
Sure. So on that sort of initial site visit, right? I'm meeting you for the first time. Really start with sort of the grand tour. Show me where we're starting from, right? I want to meet you where you are and understand what's important to you. So that's kind of the next step, is sitting down and really understanding who you are, what's important to you, what makes you tick, what makes you feel grounded, what makes you feel your best in a space. And so I do a bunch of questions with you to understand that. I think, again, it's not just about making it pretty, it's about making it you. Right. And that will be beautiful. And I'm going to help with that. Right. But to understand the who you are behind all of it. So really getting to know you, and then, yeah, just looking for visual inspo. So not just, we'll have that conversation. That's really meaningful and important. And then you're going to tell me kind of where you lean aesthetically, what excites you. But then I'm also going to ask you for visual inspiration, or inspiration from travel, or things that experiences you've had that inspire you aesthetically that I want to know about, or spiritually, right? Like, what did you feel when you were in that space? What vibe are we trying to create now in your space? And so all of that paired together, the conversation, the visual inspiration, then I take all of that and really come back and create based on that, right? Really to understand what is important to you at home, to make it feel like that sanctuary and that meaningful space.
I love that. How do you work with color and light and windows and all of that? I remember you sharing that with me and I was so excited about it.
Yeah, you just, even looking through your photos,
Yeah.
you have such a fun flair for color, for eclecticness and vibrancy. It feels like when I looked at all of your photos of the work that you've done, that's what I received, a sense of vibrancy, and I feel that same vibrancy when when I was with you in person, or even right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I believe in the power of color, and I'm not saying I won't work in neutrals. There's ways to create interest in neutrals, and beauty comes in many forms, and I believe that. And I'm here to work for you, so we need to be the right collaboration, right? And so there's a lot of designers out there. I want to first start by saying I lean more colorful, and I'm a more bold choice, if you will. And if that's not for you, cool. I'm not your designer. It's fine. So I really think it's important that you seek out, talk to a few people, like understand as a client who's the right designer for you. But I'm going to bring certain things to the table, and I enjoy pushing. When I say pushing, not in a mean way, like pushing people to delight them, right, in a way they may not expect, through color, or emphasizing this natural light that is now, just shining through because we rearranged, right? There's not a huge sofa in front of your window now, or whatever it is, right? Like finding ways to help you explore and play with color and light in your space. And I think that's important, to get creative with that and be open to new ways to use that. Maybe you haven't before, but
It sounds to me like you take your clients through the process that you kind of went through yourself as you were jumping into this business. And what I'm hearing, and you didn't say it, but you said it before, is trust.
Yes. I would say I can't overstate the importance of trust in a creative relationship, any creative relationship, especially with your space. When you hire the right designer for you, that will just come. And you hire that person because something about the energy here, the understanding here feels right and aligned. And so that's your immediate sign to be like, okay, I'm going to trust that this person can provide and deliver the space of my dreams, because they get me. They get it, right?
Yeah. That's how I felt about you.
Well, I was going to say, that's how it's like your process is so similar to how I do my branding shoots, and how I work with my branding clients to help them envision and embody and get what, yeah, it was just very, very similar.
Yeah.
Like I resonate a lot with
Yeah.
your process.
I would love to hear about some of the work that you've done. Like, what was your
Yeah.
most exciting project that you did?
Oh, that's
Oh my gosh, that's that's a hard one. But I think two come to mind in the commercial space. I work both in residential and commercial. But one of my most recent projects that I think is like a really full expression of trust and what I can bring is Mave House, a co-working and events space and social club in South Austin. And it was sort of this old flip house that was all white walls and very bland, right? Blank slate, so to speak. And they trusted me to go in there and breathe life into the whole space through interior design and bold color. And they had a very clear brand that they wanted to create and translate for their potential clients. So that was helpful, right, for them to get clear on that first and then me to then translate creatively. But that one is one that comes to mind because it's also community space. That comes back to, I think, part of the reason I love it. Two reasons is because of that aesthetic that I was able to dive into, but also for what it is, because it is a community space and their mission as a business is to bring folks together, not just for working, but for events and supporting other local businesses there and, connection of the community. And that has always mattered to me. So I think the more they described, the more excited I got about why we're doing this, right? So that was certainly a favorite project. And then also, I've done a small restaurant locally here called Craft Omakase. The former Uchi, a couple of folks who are formerly at Uchi, the chefs opened their own small 13-seat omakase restaurant that just got a Michelin star, actually.
Okay, we need to go.
So if you're a sushi lover, go, please support them.
Yes.
But yeah, that was I was so tickled to be involved and help create that space for them. That was sort of my first restaurant. But other than that, I mean, there's been countless homes. I feel like I can't, pick one. I really find joy in working with whomever on their home, whatever, if it's one room, if it's room by room, if it's a whole house, we need to rethink the paint palette. I really enjoy just anticipating and understanding needs and meeting people where they are, and no matter the scope. I think my favorite projects are the ones that just find me because I've kind of attracted them with what I'm by being me. And I think that's what it's all about.
I love that.
I love that. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because that was going to be my next question was what is the scope that you do? Because you've just mentioned some pretty big fancy businesses. So if somebody just wanted you to come in to give them a design consultation, is that something that you'd be open to as well?
Yes, I do that. I do hourly. Like yesterday, I helped folks pick for their new build paint palette and some wallpaper. They're just trying to get all their finishes set, right? So that was 2-3 hours of my time. They just need me to weigh in and affirm and have a plan. Great. So anything from hourly like that to we just want to redo our bedroom, to something like a commercial space that's 12 rooms. And
yeah. How cool. I can't wait to see Mave House. I'm going to link all of these businesses below, by the way, and of course, Kara's website and way to book with her. But I can't wait to see the Omakase place and Mave House.
And we are working on a little event for Mindfully Austin, which Kara, you know a little bit about that, but I'm just going to kind of drop a hint for the listeners, especially people here in Austin. We're cooking up something kind of fun so that we can showcase your work and Mave House, but also showcase everyone who's a part of Mindfully Austin who feels drawn to this event that we're creating, hopefully. So
love it. Thank you.
To be continued with that.
So my next question is, what is your big why? Like what makes you show up for your business every day? And you kind of explained it in your opening. I think you explained it really well. But
yeah, I mean, I think just this feeling of joy when I do what I do, like the joy that I feel. And I think that's just if you start from that place of how you feel at your highest and best use of yourself when you're doing this thing, just follow that, then keep doing it. So it's that feeling, it's helping people in my own way, right? With their well-being, with their quality of life on the daily basis, right? That they're in their space. My daughter, I have to mention her. She's young, she's 8, she's watching me.
Yeah.
And so it's important to me that she have an example of following your why and your passion and living that and seeing that through, even when it's scary a little bit, even when, you're unsure. But then just following what feels aligned for you. So I want to be a good figure for her.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
you
that.
certainly are.
So you've been doing this now for 6 years, is that right? Kara Hobbs Design is
Mhm.
6 years
Yeah.
old. So if someone was listening to this and inspired, they're feeling the joy, they're thinking about making the leap, what part of your business did you start to feel like, okay, I get this business side of things, right? Because the creativity part and the business part sometimes can feel a little different. So at what point did it feel like you were no longer on the roller coaster, like, oh, like you were more like, okay, this is flowing. Can you
Uh-huh.
speak to that?
Yeah, I think the last couple years, really, honestly, it's you're learning so much. You're just choosing to dive right in, right? And so just learning from people who have already been there, done that, right? Being resourceful, not being afraid to reach out, and we're here to help each other. Like that's it. So doing that, reach out to me if you're listening and you want to talk, please. I think once I had the chance to arrive at that place where I had more of a portfolio
Yeah.
out there for people to see, where I had experience working with enough people where sort of the word of mouth began to organically flow, and I was a little more known, and I think a little more honed in on this is sort of my brand, right?
Yes.
And that just takes time. Like I think that just takes working at putting work out there and building relationships. And so I think that again took me a few years to do, which is totally normal. I don't think anybody starts a business, tomorrow and is like got it all figured out,
Nope.
or know all the right people or whatever it may be. So I'm feeling like I'm at a place over the last couple of years where I'm real clear on who I am and how I do things and what I do, and love that. And I'm connecting with people who like get me, right? We get each other, and the rest takes care of itself.
Do you feel like being here in Austin has been supportive of that? Like,
Yes.
how is this city supportive of your business and your dreams?
Yeah, I think just my people are here. I don't know. I just feel that genuinely like at this stage. And so I think there's just a nice market for who I am and how I do this here, it seems. And I'm just embracing that and grateful for that, because that's not everywhere. And not to say wherever you move, you can't find your people. You always will. Like what that will work itself out. Right. But I think Austin does have a special level of that for me, and connection there that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
I agree with that as well.
What type of self-care practices do you have for your own self?
Oh. Yes, I'm an early morning person. So I like some alone time in the morning. That is like my carrot time, not mom time, not wife time. Like it's me. So I'm usually up between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I coffee first. I'm a big coffee drinker. So settle in, do some journaling, usually do about 30 minutes of yoga every morning, and really just connect with myself a little bit before anybody else, which is important for me. And yeah, generally I love yoga. But I mean, if somebody says, let's go to a class, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And try to do a little bit each day there. But I do some strength training with a friend a couple times a week, as we age, more and more important. So trying to pay attention to that. Yeah, and really just being outside. I live in an area that's very naturally beautiful. And so if I'm feeling not grounded or like I need to reset, I'm going to go for a walk outside, go outside. It's just kind of my happy place.
Well, you show up in the world with so much authenticity and so much light to give to people, and so much presence and awareness to see them and meet them where they are. So I knew you had to have some amazing self-care practice that I wanted to hear all about.
It definitely helps.
Definitely helps. I don't know that any of us could show up as our best selves for our clients without a daily non-negotiable
Yeah,
practice.
it's true. And I also think when you do hold so much space for others, starting your morning, there's something about that morning grounded
Yes.
self-care, that morning intention setting, morning,
Mm.
whatever it is it looks like. I know for me, when I started that and I held that as like sacred, a lot shifted.
Yeah. When the
Mm.
morning sees the day.
Oh,
That's
I
right.
like that. Okay.
Yeah. When the morning sees the
And
day.
make your bed.
Yes.
And make your bed.
This the big one.
Small wins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So I would love to hear back to what you said about Austin,
Mhm.
because this is Mindfully Austin. And what I love is that, man, there are so many people in this town that are doing incredible things to uplift humanity.
Yeah.
You know, when you're working on a space like this for people in their homes or in their businesses, and they can feel that sense of pride and harmony, that's setting them up for success in their day. You know, of course, they have to be responsible as well for how they show up, but you're contributing to that in a major way. And
Mhm.
there's so much of that in this town. There's amazing podcasters out there that are interviewing people all over the world, incredible people. And we were just so excited to connect with people in our backyard. You know,
Mm.
this city alone, we could interview a person a day and this podcast could go on for years. And we basically do one a month. But I would love to know, like, what are some of your favorite things to do in Austin? Where do you find your inspiration here, either outdoors or like a favorite coffee shop or, you know, aside from obviously Mave House, which I know is a favorite of yours.
Yeah, art gallery. I love art. Obviously, that's part of who I am, and so like Wally Workman Gallery is a favorite little local art gallery that I like to go to. Obviously, Clark's Oyster Bar is right next door. Clark's Happy Hour is one of my favorite places to go. Strangely enough, they have an amazing hamburger. If you're a meat eater, have the hamburger at the Oyster Bar there in Clark's. But yeah, those kinds of little places, right? Where it's just like, this is a very Austin thing to do. And that's just being outside, right? So walking around, Town Lake and just appreciating the natural beauty that is throughout Austin. Again, I love nature. So if there's any opportunity for me to engage there, I'm going to do that. Out here by us in Lake Travis, when I'm not in town, places that popped up that I really enjoy, like Morning Glory is a sweet little, cafe, breakfast and lunch spot that I love to go and for meetings or to work sometimes. Just depends. But yeah, those are kind of Austin Tea Exchange out here as well. That's a great spot. I mean, I just feel like there's a lot of businesses who are doing really great stuff and creating great environments for you to come and connect. And so,
Absolutely. I love that. So what is your goal for your business next year?
so here's the thing. I like goals, but I am by no means a hustle and grind, live to work kind of person.
What
That's
about
not,
dreams? Let's
yeah.
reframe that.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, so goals are good, right? And so my goals would be to really sustain and deepen the meaningful relationships that I have built through this business, to continue to provide this level of self-care that I do for people that continues to hold its value for them. So I think it's just more about, I kind of found where the magic is a little bit. I want to really maintain that and deepen that and strengthen that as I go. I don't want to feel burnt out, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to chase work and money. Like, that's not where I'm at.
Yeah.
So, just want to say that. But yeah, I mean, the dream is, like I kind of just described, to really strike this balance and authenticity in my work and life. And I feel like I'm so grateful to feel like I have this bit of flow right now. And just realizing that, recognizing it, being thankful for it, and sharing that, and continuing to share my joy.
The word that comes through is alignment, that you've found some alignment and now it's just riding the wave of alignment and allowing that to take you where you need to go, which is trust, which you talked about
Yes.
earlier, through joy, which is
Mhm.
your compass, which is so beautiful
It really is.
and very inspiring.
Oh,
Agreed. If you had anything to share, like maybe 3 tips for people that are working on improving their space on their own, if they were going to try something, what would those tips be?
So I'd say number one, capitalize on your natural light. Maybe you like to live in a cave or in the dark. Maybe I'm not the designer for you if you like to live that way. But I know sometimes we need the quiet, right? You got a migraine, get out of the light. But on the regular, open your space. Like create a sense of openness and flow. And there's no, feng shui, right? There's no blocked energy path in this space. Like it's feeling good and free. So I think capitalizing on natural light would be one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Two, you'll see like I love plants are everywhere in my home, and I believe that they add life and energy to a space as well, and just give us this general sense of thriving, being surrounded by thrive, and hopefully you keep those plants alive. If not, get a faux one that looks like it's thriving. That's just but I think plant life is a really nice way to spruce things up. And art, I will always say add color through art. If you don't want it on the walls, if you're like, that's not you, find a way to create and build from a piece of art with a palette in there that you really enjoy.
Mm.
I wouldn't underestimate the power of the right piece of art in a space.
Do you have any recommendations for fun places in Austin to find eclectic artwork that's not super expensive?
Yeah, so it depends what style you kind of like, right? So I usually like to also hit like vintage. So I don't know if you've heard of like Uncommon Objects or Revival Vintage, places like this that are around where if you like old stuff, cool. There's also local galleries that don't have really old stuff. It's like Austin, Art for the People is one. Austin Art Garage, I think it's called. Wally Workman maybe has a little bit on the more pricey end as far as art goes, but it's all original. It's going to be originals, and it's going to be definitely local showing in there as well. Gosh, I could send you a list. I feel like you kind of like between vintage and new, right?
I feel like we need to take a field trip, like an art
Yes.
field trip with you as our guide. So comment below if you want to join that, if that's something you'd be into, because I'm all for it. I think it's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, Round Top, that's not what here in Austin, but a lot of designers especially will take visits to Round Top. I have not got there as much as I would like to, but that's its own beast, right?
Well, and then at Christmas time, the Blue Genie Art Bazaar and the Armadillo
Yes.
Christmas
Yes.
Bazaar
That's a great one.
so much fun. Have you ever been to those?
I haven't, no.
Gotta go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Awesome. Well, gosh, this has been an incredible conversation.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kara.
you.
I just love what you're doing, and I'm so grateful to hear all about it and to share you with our audience. And thank you so much for showing up the way that you do, because I really believe that the way you show up for your work makes a big difference in our community, and that ripples out into all of humanity. So
Thank you.
Yeah, your energy is contagious and inspiring and fun. And it's been such a pleasure connecting and talking with you, Kara, about your process and about your business and just getting to know you better.
Same. Thanks for the opportunity.
yay. I can't end without a yay.
Hey.